नमस्कार, आप सुन रहे हैं ये पुस्तक बक ब्लू पर।
Chapter 1. Me and My Story. The proverb rolling stones gather no moss may have many connotations, but to me, it meant a life full of new experiences, newer visions, and to truly capture the essence of life. God created little Chitra on a roller coaster, born to a family of working parents with my father away from home most of the time. As far as I can recall, my mother often moved houses and places at short intervals every time the lease of the house would get over, due to rent disagreements or trying to find homes near her workplace. Though I was born on a Lakshmi Puja day, the goddess has played many pranks with me since then, where wealth is concerned, and yet it is a blessing that she has always kept my neck above water. Being the only child, I was predictably pampered, and since my mother was working, my creche was always full of relatives and extended members of the family. My growing up days, as far as I can recall, followed a rhythmic pattern. The turning point in my life was when my father, who was a foreign correspondent of a leading newspaper in Kolkata, took us to England. The influx of Indians had just started during the 1960s. My stay in England was flavored with new experiences and new learning, making new friends and bonding with children of different nationalities. Eventually, I went to study at a hill station tucked away in the Himalayas. The only stability I had was during mid-school and college, where I was secured within the walls of a convent with girls from all over the world. Along with discipline, I experienced the joy of growing up with girls of my age from different backgrounds and homes. The upbringing we got in our alma mater is relatively redundant now. Girls were taught to be polite, sit cross-legged to be demure, and were taught to be articulate. Played games, learned fine arts, all in a measured way. Even though discipline ruled our lives, this part of growing up was fun-filled, playing pranks with classmates and teachers, having midnight parties in the dormitories, taking part in debates, annual days, and of course, planning eagerly for the annual prom dance under the vigilant eyes of the black-veiled nuns. Those were the best years of my life when I made lifelong friends. Even now, whenever we meet at school reunions, we regale the past with gusto, tinted with nostalgia. When each academic year came to an end with its tiresome routine of studies and exams, it would be time for the holidays and to go home. Little did I know that packing the black trunks at that time would play a great role later in my life. My college life was also walled. The college had its own set of rules. That notwithstanding, as a young girl, I did have my share of fun too, bunking classes, going to the coffee house, mixing with university seniors, dabbling in politics secretly since it was a turbulent period in Bengal politics. Most of the girls in my college were cookie cutters. Some went on for further studies while the rest walked the well-trodden path to become teachers, lawyers, or join the banks. I too was contemplating what I should do after college. Our exams got postponed indefinitely due to the growing Naxalite agitation, and the vacuum was filled by getting hit by Cupid's arrows. I was smitten by the man in uniform. The turning point. As the set routine of school and college ended, I embarked on the second phase of my life at an early age, with tinted celluloid dreams of seeing Rajesh Khanna as an Air Force officer yodeling in an open jeep. I soon joined the officers' club in the role of a defense officer's wife. A whirlwind swept me across India from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, crisscrossing the length and breadth of India. From the cold mountains to the inky blue seas and arid deserts, a panorama covered which would make even travel, giant Thomas Cook, seem inadequate. Yet once again, my life was enclosed within the boundaries of the defense campus. While my husband managed and protected the geographical frontiers of India, we, ladies of the Defence Force and the unsung heroes, managed the home fronts so that the guardians of the nation did not have to wear a wrinkle on their brows. My life was enriched, interacting with the rank and file of people from different states and cultures. Being a single child, I was embraced into a large cosmopolitan family. There was never a dull moment from learning to flavor different cuisine or celebrating a variety of religious, cultural festivities with equal gusto. The calendar was always dotted with red ink, Casseroles were exchanged with Mrs. Iyer's sambar to Mrs. Ahmed's biryani, which would often adorn the dinner table. Learning, discovering, having new experiences was a never-ending process. My daughters and I would eagerly await every block year for the announcement of posting orders, and with unfailing regularity, my husband would announce in his baritone, "It's time to pack up." Out came the small, big trunks and wooden boxes. The whole family, with experienced deft fingers, would start labeling all the drawing room, kitchen, and other articles in boxes of various sizes. With each posting, we became smarter and wiser. Same-sized boxes would become our beds. Tea roots from the tea estates would be transformed into tables. A piece of driftwood from the river Torsa would adorn the drawing room. The years that we were lucky to have postings at various command headquarters, I would seize the opportunity to add on to degrees, certificates, and diplomas to satisfy my intellectual quest. Being married early, there were times when my daughters Shona, Rupa, and I grew up together, studied, discovered new things, and kinship grew where we learned to share a wonderful camaraderie that has remained in our life so far. We would prepare for competitive exams at the same time, while my husband made umpteen cups of coffee to keep us awake. My father-in-law would always listen patiently to our monotonous revisions with discerning eyes and the ever-present knowing smile, clarifying any doubts that we had during our preparation. Whenever opportunity knocked my way, I seized it to enable myself to keep abreast with the fast-moving world. During this period, Goddess Saraswati often conspired against me by taking long and unexpected sabbaticals. When man and God conspire against you, it is better to go with the flow. Though my career graph shows short, interrupted stints, I can boast of referrals from all over the country. As life whizzed past me in a jiffy, constantly traversing the length and breadth of the globe, packing, unpacking, and living under different roofs, from thatched roof, bashas in Assam, where we would have to clutch the rooftop on a stormy night to prevent it from flying, moving in barracks, transit camps, temporary quarters, to sprawling bungalows with manicured lawns in Aqua Road. I could, in fact, write a ready reckoner on housing for any well-known builder. One fine day, as I started to sum up my life of adventure, meeting people, making friends, some parts of it faded in the depths of memory, so many trivialities of life. Unfulfilled aspirations, kept and unkept promises fluttered through my mind. But then, life for me never stood still. At last, as per the dictates of time, the stage was set for the last bugle call. But my husband was not ready to hang up his boots yet. The familiar tone said, "March on," and out came the boxes, but this time with a difference. The rattling olive green one-tonner was replaced by the brightly colored Agarwal Packers load carrier, and instead of black trunks and irregular boxes, there were neat piles of brown cartons containing souvenirs, medals, trophies, memorabilia, remnants of our rich and varied life, all transported lock, stock, and barrel to this part of India which was to be our next home. It is often said that life is a full circle. My dears, it all started here in this beautiful city of Bangalore, where I presently reside. I met my husband, at that time a cadet under training with crew-cut hair and curled moustaches, at the Jalahali AFTC officers' mess in Bangalore, and I was the wide-eyed tourist on a trip, discovering South India and life and living. Well, that is life. So akin to nature, ever-changing, beautiful, captivating, mysterious, and at the same time somewhat frightening because of the unknown. It is perhaps because of this nature of life that it is such a precious experience. And so it is said, life is not a barrel of laughs. It is one laugh at a time. You must assemble your own barrel and put the laughs in as you progress. So here I am, raising a toast to myself, saying, cheers to the second innings. My life, which has been like a roller coaster ride for the most part, is living testimony to the need for a perception change and adaptability. It has helped me to mold and adapt myself to changing situations and environments, survive and live life happily and successfully through all the changing panorama of my existence. Indeed, if I had not done so, I may have degenerated into a depressed and discontented recluse, totally unacceptable to society. Throughout my life, I have faced a lot of insecurity, since from my childhood, I have been shifting homes frequently. Often I felt lonely, incapable, and depressed. It was then that I realized that I needed a change in my perceptions, and that the change was not only necessary, but also inevitable. I then asked myself these questions along the way. Can I change myself at any age and stage in my life? B. Do I need to be rigid in my actions and thoughts? C. If a situation cannot change, can I change my perception of the situation? D. Shouldn't we view the world as a kaleidoscope and design our lives in a new panorama, where bits and pieces join to make a beautiful experience? E. Did I perceive the world without awareness? F. Was I giving too much attention to public opinion? G. Am I scared of confrontation that I would have to face due to change? 1. Can I go against my belief system? 2. Would I behave differently? K. Would the new me mirror me with conviction?
अभी आप सुन रहे थे ये पुस्तक बक ब्लू पर। आपको ये किताब कैसी लगी कमेंट में हमें जरूर बताएं। साथ ही स्क्रीन पर दिए गए सभी प्लेटफॉर्म्स पर हमको फॉलो करना ना भूलें। धन्यवाद।